Hi, and welcome to the latest HydroApps module, Compliance Manager. We're so excited to debut this new module that will help you revolutionize your approach to risk management on the deck, at the waterfront, and at your water park with this internal, self-guided internal assessment that will allow you to be able to measure up your current behaviors, your current task completion to the industry best standards and the resources from which we've gotten that information from. So how does this all work? Well, first of all, Compliance Manager is an internal assessment, as I mentioned, that's made up of several different parts. You'll complete a different assessment for the different facilities that you have. So each facility will be available to you as a drop-down option in your facility tab here. And from there, you'll be able to create the assessment. To begin the assessment, you will click on this orange button and begin to work through the different parts of the assessment that we have. The first part is going to ask you a series of questions that have to do with your demographics. We're curious about the type of operation that you have, if you have different types of features present, and some different analytical information that will help us make sure that the assessment that populates in future segments and in future sections is really customized to the answers that you're putting in. As you go through the assessment, you'll go through section by section, and you won't need to fill it all out at once. You'll be able to save your answers, go back, get more information, and then complete the assessment. Again, this is an internal tool that you're going to use to measure against industry best practices. So we want to make sure that you do this in the timeline that works for you and for the other folks that are going to help you complete the assessment. As you go through each of the sections, there'll be some different ways to sort information. As you fill this out, you can see it can get quite long, and so we want to have ways for you to be able to sort through answered and unanswered questions, and then questions that can be done on site that are best answered when you are physically in the environment of which you're being asked questions about, like in your pump room and on your pool deck and around different pieces of equipment and different safety and risk management items. And then there's times where computer is going to be your best friend, and we want you to be able to access your documents, all of the data that lives within HydroApps that you're using on a daily basis, and be able to do that behind a computer screen. So you'll be able to sort that information. The majority of the questions are going to be these multiple choice questions, and you'll answer these to the best of your ability for each of the sections. We also have some fill in the blank questions and also some true or false questions based on your operations. You'll find as you go through that some of the questions have suggestions on how to best answer these questions, and every single question has the opportunity for you to add a photo as you're filling out the assessment for future documentation purposes. At the end of each section, we also have an option for you to add different comments. You can add general comments, or you can add comments directly to a certain question that your team may want to provide some more context behind. All of this is saved to each section of the assessment, so as you go through, you're able to fill out each component of the different questions and save it and access it at a later date to finish it, or complete it as you go and then submit it. When you're ready to submit it, you can add any other general questions and sign it, and then you'll be able to finalize the assessment. When you finalize the assessment, you are going to see your assessment populate by the location or the facility and when it was completed by and what that result was. The result is going to be how many questions you scored out of the different questions that we ask, and you'll see a series of action items populate based on the answers that you've given. You're able to do two different things here. You can either use the question search here, this magnifying glass, to open up the assessment and take a look at the assessment and be able to see how different items scored on that assessment. You're also able, like with every other section of HydroApps, to download this as a PDF or an Excel document. But you can see here you're going to have a ton of different information that populates. Each question is going to let you know what you put internally as an answer, and then if the standard was met and what that standard was measured against. The bulk of our assessment is going to be measured against the Model Aquatic Health Code, and you're going to see that as a resource with the different sections that you can find that information in the CDC Model Aquatic Health Code. You're also going to be able to look here at the different actions that were generated based on the answers that you gave. So every single section has the different questions listed, and then actions are recommended based on your answer, and you're able to go in here and assign different team members different items and give them different due dates for those items. Some items are going to be things that you can repair or adjust and make changes to relatively quickly. Other things are going to have a much longer timeline that you're going to need to bring in additional resources. Maybe you're going to need to get some budget allotment, and we understand that. So these due dates here are going to be internally guided based on your own information, and you're going to be able to assign these to different folks as you wish as you're using this to fill it out. The cool thing about the assessment is that your current action items will also display on the dashboard here. So once you've completed the assessment, you're really just beginning the process of how this tool is designed to be used. We definitely want you to take your time in the assessment, but we also want you to really take the information that the assessment's given you and how you can do small adjustments to be able to improve your risk mitigation process. So on the right-hand side, you'll be able to open up the different tasks that are populating here, and so long as your team members are also able to see these tasks, and that's a setting that I'll show you how to turn on and off in a moment, they'll be able to see what populates for them here as well. Lots of different status options. You're able to click through and kind of decipher what you're deciding to look at. You're able to look into the different assessments by facility. So if you're one of those organizations that has more than one location and you are overseeing the risk management at all of those sites, you're able to look at those. You're also able to see things that have an upcoming internal due date, and then you're also able to open up each of these items. So what's really great about this is I can see what my status has been assigned. I'm able to open this up and look at this at a glance. I'm able to change the edit due date. I'm able to assign who's responsible. I'm able to put if it's urgent or not urgent. And again, this is all going to be internal hierarchy of your own desire to assign the due date, the priority, and also the responsibility. You're able to add in completion notes here, and then you're able to add any photos or documents that you'd like. And when all of this is filled out, you're able to mark this item as complete, and it will have a accountability flow here of when this task was created, when it was last updated, and then when it was finally closed out. What's really great about the dashboard is that you're also going to have access to lots of different resources. We want to make sure that you're pointing yourself back to the Model Aquatic Health Code, which is what this is based off of. And then you're also giving yourself access to the different documents that we're using as a industry best standard, and also the glossary of terms that we're using when we are completing the assessment. We always recommend that you have your team that's filling this out look at these resources first so that they're the most equipped to be able to fill out the assessment correctly. So how do you figure out who gets access into the assessment? And that's a great question. As an admin, you're going to be able to go into users and be able to open up the person that you're wanting to look at the assessment. And just like you would for other modules, if you're a current HydroApps user, you'll go into inspections and access. You'll see a series of options here at the bottom of the screen, and these are all going to be different components of Compliance Manager. First of all, there's going to be the ability to fill out the inspection or the assessment itself, and that'll be this option here. The ability to view the report once the assessment has been completed is also a feature that you can turn on. This is a great feature to give to anybody who isn't going to help fill out the actual assessment, but that you want to be able to see the answers. And then the last three are going to be related to the items that are identified. So they're going to be able to get permission to view the items that have been identified, edit the items that have been identified, and then there's also a verification option. So a best case user example of a user case when you would do that would be if you are the aquatic supervisor, you're going to fill this out and have access to fill it out and also get the reports. And you're going to give access to some of your maybe permanent part-time employees to help you fill this out, maybe even including your maintenance team. But ultimately, you want to be the one to verify that the item has been completely checked off and approved, and you want to verify it. You can turn that on to be able to verify. And this will allow you to make sure that as people are working through those items, you have the final ability to sign them off as complete in due time. We would love to answer any questions you have about Compliance Manager. We're super proud of this tool and this approach towards risk management. We think that this is going to give a lot of different teams opportunity to talk through the different items they're currently doing and what they can refine and revisit to make sure their operations are as safe as possible. We have been hearing nothing but positive feedback from the folks who have started to use this module. We would love to show you this module live on a demo call or provide you with some quoting for you to see what the price would be for you to adopt this priceless tool for risk mitigation and Aquatic's operations. Reach out to us at hello@hydroapps.com to learn more about Compliance Manager and begin to adopt it with your operations today.